Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Atlas. In this video, I'm going to be going over a lot of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, also known as FUD, discussing a lot of the different rumors that are going around, the name callings of things. I'm going to try and help, hopefully, to clear a lot of this stuff up about SafeMoon. If you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe for more cryptocurrency news and technical analysis. Also, if you can, click the thumbs up like button on this video. It definitely helps us out with the YouTube search algorithm, and click the bell icon so that you know whenever we have a new video. If you do enjoy this video and you think that it's very valuable, then it would be amazing if you could share it. So if you guys use Twitter, if you guys use Facebook, Discord, Reddit, anything like that, and again, you guys think that this is a good response for somebody, maybe they mentioned something and you think that I helped answer it plus more, you can refer them to this video and feel free to share it, okay? I'm on Twitter, by the way. Would love it if you guys come check me out. I'm at Crypto Atlas YT. Would love for you guys to be a part of the community over there as well. Okay, and with that being said, let's go ahead and start moving through this. I'm going to try and move as smoothly and efficiently as possible. I got a lot of stuff to cover, but here we go, okay? So first up, a lot of people wonder about this 10% transaction fee and what does it exactly entail, okay? And I'll have more information regarding this as well. So this is actually posted by Hank, who is a member of the SafeMoon core development team, and this was posted inside of the Discord channel. You guys can go find this for yourselves under the frequently asked questions. But I'm going to go ahead and read through this for you guys. So he said there are 3 simple functions that occur during each trade. Those are reflection, liquidity pool acquisition, and the burn. Each transaction is taxed a 10% fee, which is split 2 ways. 5% is redistributed to all existing holders. The other 5% is split 50-50. Okay, so part 1 of that 50-50 is sold by the contract into BNB, which is the Binance coin. Part 2 is paired automatically with the previously mentioned BNB and added as a liquidity pair to the swap/exchange. So to summarize, 5% of each transaction, what is sent to the liquidity pair for the swap/exchange, is stored in a liquidity pool that we have access to, meaning their team, okay? This liquidity pool is currently not, and he really stressed that, he's a member of the team, he stressed that it's not locked, with the goal and intention that if the smart contract may need to be revised, that they can do so without issues, okay? That's an important point that really needs to be stressed. So if they need to make these changes, they have to have that accessibility. It is a core feature of this project, okay? And it's still very early. For example, if we have to migrate the contract, we will have to move the liquidity pool. All of this will be done transparently as we continue to move forward. Ironically, what we have seen happen is an update that took place with PancakeSwap. There's now a version 2, and a lot of this liquidity pool is going to be needed to migrate over. Okay, so for a lot of people that are purchasing through PancakeSwap, you might have noticed some of the recent updates, the disclosures that they say version 1's basically going out, so they made a major update. Those kinds of things, like what happened with PancakeSwap, have implications. So that's a very good example for something like this. They say all of this will be done transparently as we continue to move forward. If the smart contract is not revisited, we will be locking that liquidity pool. We will be giving more information on this soon. The second liquidity pool, created by DX Sale, is locked for 4 years. If you have issues with their locking protocol, please feel free to contact them and verify with them. Once it is unlocked, we will decide as a community whether or not to burn these tokens, recirculate, etc. The burn percentage, it is technically higher since the burn address also gets redistributions, okay? So that's the first element. Now there's a lot of frequently asked questions, so I think these should also be addressed. And then I think a lot of this other stuff that I'm going to be going over will actually run a little bit more smoothly and fast, just so you guys know. So this was posted by the core team. It says, hello, this is Hank from the SafeMoon core team. I'm going to give very straightforward answers to some of the questions that continuously keep getting asked that don't need to continue to be asked. I will just direct you to this post from now on. Question 1, who are the whales? Who owns wallet, blah, 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 right? One of the main purposes of cryptocurrency is to provide anonymity. We know very little about the people who own the larger or smaller wallets because it's not our business, nor is it our concern. We have no control over what the wallet owner does with the tokens in their possession, right? It's your money. You have the right to choose what you want to do with it. So question 2, what is the SafeMoon protocol deployer address? That is SafeMoon Dev's personal wallet where he had purchased tokens, just like everyone else during the DX sale fair launch. They have a link to that reference. The tokens are being used for funding several different aspects of SafeMoon: marketing, operations, development, community events, etc. All the manual burns have been done from the address out of his own personal funds. No personal payouts have occurred from this address. They are being used to expand the business and further progress the token/community. Question 3. Why did, and then gives the address, receive $777 trillion from the deployer address, and why does it send funds to PancakeSwap? This address is the liquidity wallet bound by the contract. In terms of cryptocurrencies, liquidity is the ability of a coin to be easily converted into cash or other coins. Liquidity is important for all tradable assets, including cryptocurrencies. The funds here are for the sole purpose of providing liquidity for PancakeSwap. Question 4. Who is blah, 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 and why do they keep selling their tokens to manipulate the price, right? Now I say blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read the whole thing. As stated earlier here, the wallet the wallet in question is owned by a community member, Pharaoh. He purchased during the pre-sale and the tokens that were not sent via PancakeSwap during that time. This is simply an early investor selling down his position, having hodled through a meteoric rise in price. This holder burned trillions of his tokens early on in the project, as evidenced by the as evidenced by the SafeMoon Twitter account. Question 5. Why are you asking for the community to assist with funding when you have the deployer wallet? They said, we do not have the means to front all of the money for everything that is needed for this project. It is simply too large of a project for us to be able to afford to fund everything that we all want to see happen. In no way, shape, or form is anyone obligated to donate toward our community fundraisers. It is completely optional to you whether or not you would like to help contribute toward paying for these things that we raise money for. One of those things was to help create the exchange. Believe it or not, we have an operating budget that must be kept in order to maintain the longevity of the project. Question 6. What's happening with Whitebit? What's happening with Insert Exchange here? They said we cannot answer that as we're bound under NDA, okay, the non-disclosure agreement. When we have information for you, we'll make an announcement, which they do. They make lots of announcements all the time. In fact, if you follow them on their Twitter account, that's where most of these announcements take place. Okay. Question 7. What are these other tokens with Safe in the name? We have zero affiliation with any of these. The only token that we are part of is SafeMoon. And they've also reiterated in the AMAs that if they were to make any kind of a derivative, they would make a public announcement and it would be a big deal. Okay. So as it is right now, there's only SafeMoon as of the time of making this video. Who knows in the future, right? What about all... what are these... question 8. What about all of these other addresses that got coins from SafeMoon's deployer wallet? The tokens that were purchased during the pre-sale through DX sale were not sent via PancakeSwap during that time. They came out of the protocol wallet. They were not given to them for free. They were purchased as part of the fair launch. Question 9. Why is the burn address not getting any transactions? As you guys can see, they provide the specific address that's associated with the burn wallet. It is actively receiving the burnt tokens. The tokens reflections happen inside of the contract, so there is no transaction hashes posted. By the way, there's no accessibility to that burn wallet. And other cryptocurrencies also use a similar function as a burn address, right? Just so you guys are aware. Question 10, contract ownership. They said, we are treading a fine line here. One hand, I think he meant to say on one hand, we could have locked ourselves out of the contract and liquidity pool totally, which still may be a possibility in the future. On the other hand, we can keep the contract in our custody and utilize the functions of that to be able to applicate these functions to benefit the community instead of harm them. There are some FUD going around in the most recent weeks, some by other clones of the smart contract that we are using. which targets us as having the ability for a rug pull. Let's, where did it go? Let's take a deeper look at these attacks. First, we have taken serious steps towards mitigating the risk of security initially, starting with the pre-sale hosted on DX Sale, liquidity pool being immediately locked out of the gate, bringing in a real team with real people who offered to dox themselves and put their public credibility on the line, registering an entity, locking a second liquidity pool, and the list goes on. We have already, excuse me, we have already publicly expressed our goals and intentions of why we remain open towards keeping the contract in our custody due to the functions of it allowing us greater strategic plays down the timeline. For instance, we have the ability to exclude hot wallets that exchanges use to send and receive transactions. We also have the ability to exclude the burn address from receiving rewards, as it is currently absorbing SafeMoon at a massive rate, right? We can enable different liquidity pairs on other decentralized exchanges by utilizing the generated liquidity pool and seeding it to these exchanges. In other words, we aren't just stuck with a smart contract that is limited to only trading on PancakeSwap. While that may be fine initially, we have the vision to expand beyond these boundaries. These are the boundaries that currently exist for many other developer teams that toot themselves as having an edge over us. In summary, we are not short-sighted to the limitations as being a finality. We believe that this smart contract can outperform its competition for reasons that we exclusively offer to the community. Our edge, the perfect harmony between fair launch, public team, and responsible contract utilization. This was the birth of SafeMoon. As they state in the bottom here, if you have any further questions, we have either answered them in the previous AMAs, which are available on our Twitch YouTube account, or you can ask them directly during the next AMA, and they'll be happy to answer for you. King regards, I'm sure he meant kind regards, SafeMoon core team member Hank, right? A couple little typos in there, but hopefully you guys get the idea on that. Okay, now next thing that I want to go ahead and address, and I'm already seeing that I'm at 12 minutes in this, so again, I'm going to try and run through this all pretty smoothly and efficiently the best that I can. All right, so if you guys see anything and you want to pause the video to take a look at it better, you guys can. Just keep that in mind, all right? So people want to say that it's a pyramid scheme, and people want to say that it's a Ponzi scheme. Let's look at the definition of what these actually are, instead of people just throwing out the term, okay? Pyramid scheme, by definition, is a form of investment illegal in the United States and elsewhere, in which each paying participant recruits two further participants, with returns being given to early participants using money contributed by later ones. A pyramid scheme also is defined as a business model that recruits members via a promise of payments or services for enrolling others into the scheme, rather than supplying investments or sale of products. All right? So that's the definition of what's going on as far as a pyramid scheme goes. So something that you need to keep in mind with this, guys, is, I got to pull up my little thing right here, also the definition of Ponzi scheme. So a Ponzi scheme is known as a form of fraud in which belief in the success of a non-existent enterprise is fostered by the payment of quick returns to the first investors from money invested by later investors. Ponzi scheme is a form of fraud that lures investors and pays profits to earlier investors with funds from more recent investors. The scheme leads victims to believe that profits are coming from legitimate business activity, and they remain unaware that other investors are the source of funds. So you got to keep in mind and take it with a grain of salt what some of this actually entails, because people can use the same sort of verbiage to a degree on similar market spaces. Some of these market spaces that we've been seeing are things like, for example, where did I put it here? Like corporations. Who is it that gets paid at the top? It's the CEO. They make more money than everyone else. Who is it in the stock market industry that ends up making the most money? Well, it's the people that get in the ground floor, right? It's a risk-reward ratio. If you take a higher level of risk, you're reaping potentially higher benefit. It's also known as first mover's advantage in the world of business. So I think it's important to understand that this isn't the first time we've been seeing cryptocurrencies getting called out as being scams. Like, for example, here's a post that's in relationship to Ethereum, right? This is from a couple years ago, where they were calling it out and calling it a scam. What about Bitcoin? Right? Bitcoin, a lot of people were looking at it and saying, is this a joke? When it first came out. People are still calling it a scam. Look at this article from Vox. And Bitcoin is over $1 trillion. Not now. It's ended up dropping a bit. I don't know what its current market capitalization is after this whole debacle that just happened. But, you know, to say the least, it's got a massive amount of support and funding that's gone into it. There's huge proponents for it. A lot of people want to be just pro-Bitcoin and that's it. And there's nothing else that exists. Nothing else should be worth your time. And guess what? The reality is there's thousands of other cryptocurrencies that are going out there. A lot of them have different functional purposes. We're going to discuss that kind of stuff too. All right, so just keep in mind with that element. Something else that was also mentioned is the non-existent enterprise in regards to a Ponzi scheme. So one thing I really want to point out for you guys right here is that SafeMoon is actually a registered company. As far as the core development team, those individuals that have developed this thing, a lot of these other cryptocurrency projects, the teams, they're anonymous. You don't even know who they are. These people are actually being more transparent in that regard than other cryptocurrencies. So you guys can see the information here in regards to the LLC. In addition to that, on their website, they actually display publicly who they are as part of their team, including references to where you can find out more information about them. So just for example, John Caroni, who is the CEO, has a link to his LinkedIn. And one of the places that he actually has as a reference is that he was the all-source analyst at the United States Department of Defense. So here's some more legitimizing of who these people are, right? Now, people can have every kind of doubt in the world. When you provide forms of evidence like this, I'm just trying to share what I found out, and hopefully it calms you guys down on some things. Keep in mind, by the way, I'm not a financial advisor. Anything that I'm sharing here on this stuff, this is my own research. I encourage you guys to go do your own further research, look it up, get multiple points of view, okay? You don't have to take my word on all this. It's fine if you want to go see what other people have to say. I just appreciate you taking the time to look at what I found out on all of this, okay? So a couple other things that goes on with this is a lot of people, you also take a look at this in the regards to a pyramid scheme, the Ponzi scheme, and they're saying that like it's an unviable format because look at how many people, you get to a point where you need more people than actually exist in the world. So one of the beautiful things that's actually great about SafeMoon is it's restricted to a cap. So the total supply was originally 1 quadrillion. We're getting closer now already towards 500 trillion. So almost half of that has been burned. So just keep that in mind, right? That's really good. Now, in addition to that, you don't have to recruit new people. There's no bring 2 of your friends in. There's none of that. You could have the same amount of people be involved inside of SafeMoon and transactions that are being moved around, and those reflections that were discussed earlier are still going to take place. It is not a necessity for new people to come in to allow that circulation and funding. In fact, keep in mind that if the top person decides to buy more SafeMoon, their purchase will reflect back to everyone that's underneath them. It is not a requirement that only the people below the top person make these purchases of SafeMoon. They can contribute just as much as everyone else. So there is no specific place that you get promoted into or anything like that. You do get rewarded for more that you have, but also keep in mind that because they have the accessibility as a team, they've reiterated that they have the capability to cap these things off, to shut off certain mechanics later on down the road if the community especially speaks out a large amount of voice on this, right? So it's a judging as it progresses. There might come a certain point in time where certain functions like the transactional fee, it might get reduced, it might completely stop. The burning might hit a certain threshold where we get low enough on coins where they say, hey, we don't think it's efficient based on the data, the statistics that we're receiving right now, and the use cases, the market spaces that this is now being primarily used in. It doesn't make it efficient anymore. Let's go ahead and cap that off, okay? They don't have any intention of shutting off right now, but they didn't say, and well, they did say that they have the capabilities to make those kinds of changes. So just keep that in mind, right? Those are some really key points I want to talk about. Also, in regards to transactional fees, a lot of people want to, crap on the fact that there's fees with this stuff. There's fees with almost everything when it comes to stuff with finances. It's not something that's new. It's not something that should be catching people off guard. You look at things like, for example, Western Union, MoneyGram, people that are trying to send money to other countries. There are fees that are associated with that. One big thing I want to point out, though, is that the fees are just one variable of a bigger equation of what SafeMoon's tokenomics are. Remember, there are those 3 parts. So it's so important that people need to realize it's not just you're getting taxed and that's it. You're getting taxed for a reason. And that is going back to the community. It's not going to something that's just like super, they're funding a water park for whatever, it's not doing something like that. It's not going to military. If you're worried about funding military programs, you look at how taxes in general are actually being used, and I'll show you guys that in a second here. You got bank fees. Look at all the different ways that banks use this stuff. Okay, now I understand we don't want to have the same issues. Obviously, we're trying to move in a different direction. My point is that fees exist in many different formats, and they're used in many different industry spaces. Look at the exchanges. If you go on an exchange, the exchanges for cryptocurrencies use fees. It's not something that's new. When you take a look at the volatility of some of these fees, you can see the spectrum on this chart, okay? Variables move for certain cryptocurrencies. In regards to SafeMoon, they're defining it as 10%. But again, down the road, that might actually get reduced down. So that's, again, one of the beautiful elements of something like that, to have that accessibility. All right, so then you take a look at taxes. Look at where taxes are actually being used. If people frown upon the fact that when you live in a society, and there's other people around you, and we got to pay for certain things like education, I'm sorry, but that comes across to me, personally, as extremely selfish. We need education. If people are in poverty, education, proper education, can give them the right direction of where they need to go, where they need to put their time and efforts in, what they can invent and innovate to help get them, their family, out of that poverty. Education is extremely important and a valuable asset. You can argue for some of these other points all that you want, but there are certain key fundamental things that we need to provide funding into in order to maintain an efficient economy and an ecosystem to where we can thrive and grow and continue to move forward. If everyone gets the state of mind of saying my money, mine, I'm not, no, nothing, there's other things that have to be paid for, and there has to be a community and a way to be able to provide that funding for those people. A lot of people don't want to work for nothing. You want to be able to get compensated appropriately for your worth. And I think this helps illustrate just a traditional format for something like that. So just keep that in mind, okay, guys? So that's in regards to the pyramid scheme thing. You also got to think about who is it that you listen to, right? Who do you listen to? Because the people that you get your information from, again, you should get multiple perspective views on things because they're not always right. All right, this is one example of somebody. I'm just going to point out a couple things. You can get right some of the time. You can be wrong some of the time. People are not perfect. So in this example, this individual, Warren Ruggs, had posted, and he got a ton of attention. A lot of people were still circulating this information around about in regards to the liquidity. As you guys can see here, I highlighted off of his messages because I wanted to illustrate a point. 50% of liquidity is in regards to SafeMoon. Owner owns more than 50% of liquidity and refuses to fix it. He could pull liquidity pool and sell tokens, creating a rug pull. Likeliness of losing all funds? Absolute. Okay, let me highlight that again. 50% of liquidity. Likeliness of losing all funds? Absolute. Now look at a future post. They checked Shiba Inu. They said 100% of the liquidity is stored in Vitalik Buterin's wallet, whereas 50% of the supply is in his wallet, right? And then they said, to be perfectly clear, Vitalik can rug pull you. Will he do it? Certainly not. There's no incentive for him to tarnish his reputation for 200 Ethereum. So it was a definite thing in regards to SafeMoon, which has still not happened, by the way. That hasn't taken place. But in regards to Shiba Inu, there's no way that that's going to happen. Well, what ended up happening? 90% of the Shiba Inu holdings, almost half the coin circulation. Vitalik Buterin burnt 90% of his Shiba Inu assets, over 40% of all coins in circulation. Buterin said he plans to donate the remaining 10% of the coins he owns to charity. Okay? So, rug pull? I mean, come on. You're saying that he is definitely not going to do. Right, look, there's no incentive for him to tarnish it. Will he do it? Certainly not. So my point is, again, that people can get things wrong. We're not perfect, guys. It's important that you don't take things for face value and you take the opportunity. We have the internet. We have tons of other experts out there, lots of people that are diving into things. Go and look for more information. Okay? It's so important. In regards to this too, this guy made a project called FairMoon. And after he created this FairMoon project, guess what? A lot of people started seeing major issues. There was something with the bug, and people are calling him out for doing a rug pull. Now, am I saying that he did a rug pull? I don't know. I'm just sharing with you what the community is saying. Because again, you have one side that's going to be totally pro him. And on the other side, you're going to have people that saw things a different way. And this is the people that saw things a different way, just like how he saw things in a different way. Take both sides and then make your own conscious decision. That's all I'm trying to say. In addition, you guys can see someone else went into research about how accurate he was. That's their point of view. I tried looking this information up, by the way. I want to put this out there. I thought this was really odd. I saw this article like a month ago. When I tried to look this up, I couldn't find it. I couldn't. Every website that I went to, it was taken down. It was blocked. There was some sort of an error. There was multiple websites trying to list this thing. I had to do a cached version in order to find this actual article, and then I had to swap it over to being text only. To me, that's very odd. I think people have the right to be able to share their concerns, their own research, their point of views on this kind of thing. The fact that it's being silenced on a lot of these different platforms seems very unusual to me, okay? I just want to go ahead and say that again. Whether it's fully true or not, you make your own conscious decision on it. That person looks like they put a lot of work and research into it. All right, next thing that I want to go ahead and talk about is with the use cases. Again, I got to try and move a little bit faster with all this stuff, guys. You take a look at when SafeMoon first came out. It came out on March 13th, 2021. It's still very new. As of the time I'm making this video, it's May 18th, 2021. This thing has blown up in the course of a little bit over 2 months. It's just massively exploded, and people were expecting the world or the moon from all of it, right? Like as if they should have every answer already laid out and this and that. They're making amazing progress. I keep up to date with a lot of stuff that they got going on, but it's still extremely early. It's already market rank at number 38 on CoinGecko's list. You guys can take a look over on CoinMarketCap as far as the amount of people that have it on watch list. So many people are interested in seeing where this project's going to go that it currently has more people adding SafeMoon on their watch list than that of Bitcoin. That should be a huge statement just in its own. Now let's define whether or not it's even a cryptocurrency, because I've heard the argument that SafeMoon is not a cryptocurrency. Here's the actual definition of a cryptocurrency. A digital currency in which transactions are verified and records maintained by a decentralized system using cryptography rather than by a centralized authority. Well, guess what, guys? You can go to the BSC scan, which is the Binance Smart Chain scan. If you type in SafeMoon, you're going to see that there's a little verified check mark next to this. That's something else that you have to go through a process on in order to get verified on the smart chain. So that was amazing to see in its own. But if you guys click on that, then you can actually go see, just for some examples, recent transactions. You can see exactly where it went to and from where. That's decentralized. So this fits within the definition of a cryptocurrency. If you guys want to check out further information, like maybe what some of the wallets are addressed through, I found this website called watcher.guru. It's got a lot of stuff, and you can refresh the page and check out the updates. You can click on it, and it'll take you to the actual Binance Smart Chain for more information as well. Okay, so another provided resource for you. Now, as far as for use cases, well, it's a cryptocurrency. It's a means of exchange. You use it to buy things. Well, you can't buy anything. No, you can. There are people that already, again, even within just 2 months, the fact that anyone is willing to take anything for it within 2 months is huge. Just think about Bitcoin. How long did it take for Bitcoin to have any kind of a purchase? And the first purchase, by the way, was actually a pizza. 2 pizzas, 2 large pizzas. In fact, that anniversary is coming up on Saturday, I believe. So here's some use cases in which you can use as a means of trade in order to receive something, a product or a service, for using your SafeMoon, okay? So it's an equated value with a quantifiable thing. So here you have, for example, getting your pilot's license. You have a tattoo shop that's accepting it. You also have another business. I don't know what this one does. It was shared, though. You can see they're also accepting Dogecoin. They got their open sign, something in the little background there. It's kind of an abstract one. A clothing company. This is cousinsmoothly.com. They're accepting SafeMoon. There's just now mentioned today, there's a porn website that apparently is going to be accepting SafeMoon as well. There's a shop over in Lebanon that accepts SafeMoon as a form of payment. You also have a woodworking shop that accepts SafeMoon as payment, right? Now, keep in mind that there's more projects that the team has in their roadmap that you'll be seeing come out in the future, in which there will be even more use cases for SafeMoon. Personally, I think what one of the biggest things is likely to be is probably going to be in relationship to the exchanges and having some sort of a value, maybe adding a discount. We see a similar thing like with Binance's coin. If you hold the Binance coin, you use Binance, you do transactions for Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, you actually get a discount on those transactional fees through the exchange. They reduce that down for you. That's a mechanic that Binance's coin already is in use for. So more than likely we'll see something similar to that, as well as, again, a means of exchange. But they do have a lot of other things that are being laid out in the roadmap. And this roadmap is being updated quite frequently on things. All right, next thing that I want to go ahead and highlight. Again, I got to try and move through this. It's already 31 minutes. But guys, there's so much FUD of what people want to say on things. So the next topic I'm going to talk about is this whole allegation about the ambassador for Gambia, that he's not real, he's a paid actor and stuff. Like, I'm sorry, guys, but some of these conspiracy theories that people come up with, it's really getting kooky. You can do further research on this, ask the appropriate resources, again, instead of just assuming things. Because you know what happens when you assume things, as they say? You make an ass out of you and me. So if you guys go take a look, just for example, this is a post relationship. You can actually see this guy right here. This is the ambassador. I'm going to try and, whoops, why did I just forget for a second? I feel stupid right now. I just forgot how to zoom in. I literally just forgot how to zoom in on my, my Photoshop. I can't believe I just forgot how to do that. What am I doing wrong? Anyways, I totally forgot how to, oh, Alt. I was pressing Control. I had a brain fart moment. Just bear with me. I got so many other things, and my main focus is on this. I guess I had to move some space off of something that was a normal function in order to keep everything on track for this. Ironically, I went off a little bit. Anyway, so you guys can see right here, this is the individual. I know it's a little bit of a blurry image. I'm sorry, I'm really zooming in on this. I actually kind of expanded out a little bit at first, but this is him in relationship to that. Further information on this can actually be found through this article here. The article is titled, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this, Famara was Touré's Legacy Revisited as PPP Resurrects. And as you guys progress throughout the actual article itself, you can then get to the point where it highlights Mr. Sakung Jawara. I believe I pronounced his name right. And that's just the end of the article itself right there too. So yes, he's actually a real person. And if you guys want to see the interview that SafeMoon's CEO had with him, you can go check out the link. The link is right here. And if you go to 6 minutes and 21 seconds, that's where the start of his actual interview is. And they discuss about how this is going to be implemented in with Gambia. Okay? Oh, did I say okay? Okay. Sorry, guys. Next up is the CertiK rank. This is an audit. It has been audited and it actually passed the audit. So if you guys take a look at CertiK, its rank will move up and down. Currently, right now, as of when I made the video, it's at 29. Okay. So out of all the cryptocurrencies that have been ranked out there, it's got a 29 on its rank. In addition to that, it's got a score of like around 86 or so. So some of the key things that they had highlighted as far as issues, these are being addressed. The team is trying to work on some of these problems, okay? The major findings, you guys can see, first off, there are 0 critical findings. That's great news. A critical finding is obviously something that's really, really bad, right? Major problem is like, it looks pretty bad on paper. And that reference is the centralization/privilege. In regards to some of the other analytical reports, you guys can see what's been identified here. It's received high scores on a lot of these different elements. Let me go ahead and move my webcam so you guys can see that there for a second. So it's received high scores on a lot of these different elements. The safety assessment is at a 72. You actually, again, see fluctuations on these from time to time, given different circumstances of things that are happening inside of the industry space or with the development of the project itself. In addition to that, you guys can also see the sentiment analysis that's going on, 93.4%, non-negative recognition. So a lot of good recognition in that regards. In addition to that, all right, now if we go into the actual, now I can zoom in because I remembered how to do it right. The major problem that was highlighted, the severity for it. You guys can read this through the actual paper that was published by the audit. In short, it's talking about the fact of that liquidity pool, that it's accessible by the team. And they address what their point of view is on it and what they think that should be done with it. Well, the team also responds to that. You can see their full response on that reference sheet right there. I know I'm already running at 36 minutes here. And I do have a couple other points that actually, no, this is my last kind of thing now that I actually see my notes for everything. So let me go ahead and try and finish everything up more or less. So alleviation, they said in regards to owner control, we are a fair launch governed by a central board which is subject to governmental regulations and law. We are a legally registered entity, which I showcased to you guys earlier, in accordance to the law and jurisdictions in which we operate. SafeMoon is very different from other projects, and our differences provide more security for the community versus anonymous teams and projects. Risks in regard to quote-unquote rug pulls or anything else is mitigated due to the fact that every member of SafeMoon would be subject to litigation and likely a swift prison sentence. Additionally, outside of the law, our social lives would be in ruin, and we would not be able to show our faces in public again, let alone get another job. This should be taken into account when looking at the SafeMoon project as a whole. That's one part, okay? They do go on, guys. Additionally, we have taken serious steps towards further risk mitigation by initially starting this project with a fair launch hosted on DX Sale, where the liquidity pool being immediately locked out of the gate. I was talking a little bit about this earlier. SafeMoon quickly brought in a team willing to go public with their identities to build trust with the community and for the project. SafeMoon was quickly registered as a legal entity. We locked the second, third, fourth liquidity pools, etc., and will continue to do so when the liquidity pool is not needed. We locked $250 million recently via Unicrypt. We have publicly expressed our goals and intentions of why we will retain custody of the contract. The functions allow additional control for the SafeMoon team to make continued strategic plays in regards to long-term growth of the community and the project. Here's a list of the transactions associated with the locked liquidity pools. Transparency. Okay, guys? Transparency is huge. It is so important for trust. If you can't be open and honest about a lot of things, how do you expect to earn people's trust? People are so quick to judge SafeMoon on certain criteria, and yet they're willing to overlook those same kinds of issues that are actually occurring on other cryptocurrencies. And to me, that's a hypocrite. There's a lot of them that are out there. Just because someone has a ton of followers on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever, guys, just because they're rich, just because they're a famous business person, it doesn't mean that every word that comes out of their mouth is valid or true or is actually the best point to be said. That's why it's so important for you to do research. Give yourself the opportunity. If it seems like it could potentially be so important for you, whatever this topic is, treat it like such, and do take a little bit more time, as much as you need, to find out more about it. Because if you miss out on the opportunity, you have nobody to blame but yourself. All right, so in summary, guys, if you want to check out some of the other things that are going on with the project, here's just kind of like a quick little overview sheet that actually talks about a lot of the stuff that's going on with it. Guys, feel free to look at that. You'll probably see it being circulated around over on Twitter. But again, more things are coming along. And again, it's only 2 months old. It's amazing the amount of stuff that they've already been able to pull off, what directions that they're moving in. I really commend the team on this. And I think that they're doing a lot of work that you don't see a lot of these other cryptocurrencies doing. You don't want to get in now? That's fine. That's on your choice. If you want to invest in another cryptocurrency, that's fine. That's your choice. No one's holding a gun to your head on this. You don't like the transactional fees, that's fine. You can wait. Maybe they'll go away, right? If they do and you don't own any before then and the price goes up way ton, you look back on it, you're like, man, I should have just bought some, I held on to it. Well, guess what? That was your decision not to take that risk. Everyone that's getting in right now on this or any other investment, it is a risk and it is all speculation. You guys have to remember the golden rule of investing. Never invest more than what you're willing to lose. I own SafeMoon. Let me just make that publicly clear. I like the project. Obviously, I put a lot of time and research into this. I'm excited to see where this project could go and how it could impact the world. And I think personally it could impact the world in a lot of really good ways. But that's just my opinion on this, okay? I do have some other videos if you guys are curious. These are just a couple that I wanted to highlight that I think you guys should go check out if you are really interested about like some of the stuff that could happen with SafeMoon. So I got two videos. There's a shortened version of how SafeMoon could hit $1. I have a longer, really in-depth version of how it could hit $1. And I talk about a lot of the industry spaces in which SafeMoon is actually going into, as well as some of the mechanics that could potentially change the total amount of coins that are currently in circulation to make it more viable to actually hit these kinds of price points. So those are some key points that I really think that you guys should keep in mind. I know initially it sounds absolutely insane, but you'll understand a lot better the potential of these growing market spaces, where they're at and where they're going, what kind of a percentage, even if it was small, that you could see be pulled into something like SafeMoon and the development team in that regard, as well as I made obviously a separate video about like the true full potential. So that's it, guys. I do have referral links to, if you want to get some bonus cryptocurrencies on things, they are in the description. You guys can get some bonus crypto using my link for Coinbase, for Gemini, for BlockFi. You can earn up to $250 in bonus crypto if you use my BlockFi referral link. You guys also can get some free stock if you use my referral links for Robinhood or Webull. All that stuff is basically free money. You guys can find out all the details on all those in the description. I would love it, guys, if you haven't yet, hit subscribe. I put a lot of work and research into this video. I'm sorry that it ended up being pretty long. It was a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm going to put cliff notes in the description for people. If you guys see people complaining, whatever, and you guys see in the comments, you can tell them, you know, there's cliff notes of where to go to for sections inside of the description. So hopefully that'll help people out. Please don't forget to hit subscribe. Hit the thumbs up like button. It helps us out with the YouTube search algorithm. Click the bell icon so you know whenever we have a new video, and share this video with people that you think that this is going to be valuable to them. All right? Please share this video if you think that it will be valuable. I tried to put everything into one resource for people. Thank you, guys. Talk to me in the comments down below. Other people in the SafeMoon community, if you see people asking questions down below, can you help me out? Can you help the community out? Do the best that you can to try and help answer their questions as well. We're all in this together. There's lots of potential behind a project like this. It has a lot on the spotlight right now. Let's see what we can do with it. Let's see what good things we can do with it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.